Welcome everyone. My name is Emmy and I am so glad to see you here, friends. This is going to be our last segment of our piece series, and then, believe it or not, in August I have some real exciting things planned. I think it's time we went under the sea and have some fun. I know my friend who I actually taught, Kelly Bluen, is doing an under the sea thing, and this will kind of fold into it, but likely be different tangles. So you're going to need some tools today. You're going to need your 08 or something that's like Sharpie or anything like that. You likely will need an eraser. And of course the usual things that you're going to need. My paper today is just a 4x4, nothing fancy. I'm going to show you where we're going. I'm so excited about it. So this is our final project for our piece series of fun this summer. I have had a reflective summer, and I do think that everything is temporary, and that is a healthy thing for us to think about and remember. So let's get started with some patterns. The first pattern I want to show you, you may know, it's called bales. It is a headquarters pattern, and it is simply a grain of rice or something similar to that. It's a large elongated C, and then the rest of the C comes back. We're going to use this in a couple of places. We're going to use it for our leaf, and we're also going to use it as a bit of background. Now, I'm real fond of poke leaf. I'd even say it's kind of my mac and cheese. And what you do with poke leaf is you make a double line. You make a frown that's a little separated from the double line. Then you come back on those two sticks or lines that you had and come around. And that is really kind of an S shape. And then we're going to do it the other way. I'm going to come off over here and tie that off. I frequently find that I like to add a little embellishment there. It rounds things off if I'm in a funny place, or I could darken this or do a little more with it should I want. Mumsy we're going to do on the job, but I wanted you to wanted you to know that I have met Sandy Steen Bartholomew, and she is wonderful. She's very whimsical as well, and if I can find this book, or maybe you can find it at the library. I do have it at home, but I am out somewhere else today, so I'm not going to be able to show you the cover, but it's whimsy, it's patterns, it is just fun, and I think that's where her pattern Mumsy comes from, that she designed. She is a great designer. Okay, and faux calligraphy is what I'm thinking I will use for our words today. So just for a sample, if we're doing the letter E, I'm going to make a stick, and I'm going to make a second stick. I'm going to do a cross piece, and a cross piece. Only the down strokes are the ones that are doubled. Know that you can change this up anytime if room is tight or anything else. So let's get started. I want to use my pencil and get a lot of string on here. A string is something that you can use as a guide if you haven't used it before. And I'm going to start by putting dots in the corner and connecting them. This is just to give us a bit of a frame. And I'm going to need another one. I'm going to come in here. I would say it is not much longer than this much on a pencil. So I'm going to come in and do another row or interior string line all the way around. This is another lovely day for Emmy to have coffee. So I think my shaky lines are just wonderful when I am working in pencil, and I do have techniques to help me when I'm working in pen. So I want to do another line, and this one is going to be quite a bit bigger, almost double the size of this first one here. So I'm going to create another box. As you and I know, pencil lines are made to be changed, and they're very much adaptable to whatever we're doing. I want to mark off where I want this pattern Mumsy to go. I'm going to make a big circle. I already showed you this is the pattern Mumsy with its leaves. And so I want to have plenty of room, so I'm going to get myself into this area here and all the way out to the edge of the paper. Okay, so that is pretty much where I wanted to go for now. So I'm going to start by laying the pattern Mumsy on each side, and I'm probably going to be erasing all these lines if they don't just go away. So somewhere toward the middle of this, I'm going to put this amoeba shape. Out, in, and out, in. From here, I'm going to make a series of U's. Watch, I'm going to come around like that. So it's a huge balloon of a U. I'm going to come off the side here and make another U. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to go around as many times as it takes to get all the way out, either to the edge of my paper or as many as I want so that this pretty pattern looks pretty. Take it around and around. Relax your shoulders. Take a breath. Enjoy the process and the time together. Very forgiving pattern. And it's very sweet, I think. I hope you agree. Quite beautiful. I need to look and make sure I don't have any wonky edges. It seems a little like it could use a little more over here. I have to be careful I don't make it wonk the other way. No, I like that. I like that. Okay, let's take a minute and put our leaves on. A leaf is just a giant rice grain, like I just showed you for bales. And there's a couple different ways that you could make these leaves. This is one way. And what I've done is put a line down the middle, and then I have the serrated edges. And that is quite a lovely look. The other one is to put the line down the middle and kind of do little tick marks inside in the place of serrated edges. So you might want to try this a couple of times on scrap paper or something. It is definitely a pattern for on-the-job training. So these are just tiny whiskers, actually, and I think that they have the illusion of being serrated looking too. I want to put a couple more of my sweet leaves over here. It's not easy making something quite large, but I do want you to think in terms of large when you're thinking of these leaves. That's all relative, isn't it? I mean, we're working on a 4-inch piece of paper here. This leaf is behind the other. Nice. I would like to have a leaf or two. Actually, I'm going to get going on this fun poke leaf pattern. Slide a couple in between the leaves. I don't think we're quite working like florists today, but we are trying to stick these in where it seems like it would be fun. Look over what you got. So far, I really, really, really like it. I hope you do too. I think I'll stick a couple of those poke leaves in here. Trying very hard not to work too small, but you know how that is? Sometimes you just do for no good reason whatsoever and don't want to work too small. There, if I make the stick a little longer, then it'll be a little longer. That can be a big fight sometimes, not to work too small. There, I love it. How about you? So I want to do the same thing on the other end, and I think you know what we're doing, so I will meet you at the end with our other Mumsy pattern, our leaves, and our fun poke leaf. So see you in a minute. Okay. I love this. I hope you do too. So I am ready to put my writing in here. And what I want to do is lay it out, and maybe I should do it on scrap paper first. You know, this is called a Zia, Zentangle-inspired art, and there is no up and no down. So if you want to do your words that way or that way, whatever you decide is going to be just fine. I'm going to put my every and then thing is down this side because I have room, but I am going to do it in pencil first. And then I can see how large this needs to be or small. Excuse me. Now we're going to go back and do full calligraphy, which means I have to allow and leave enough room. So my last word is temporary, and I'm going to put it right here. Maybe you prefer a capital T, I don't know. But this is my time, like for instance, my E is too small or for my M. It looks like the whole thing is too small. Oops. There. I think that looks really nice. Before I get any further, I want to take a minute and ink it in. This is where I'm going to do my full calligraphy. Downstroke, not upstroke. Downstroke. Kind of pretty. Okay, thing. Takes more room to do full calligraphy, of course. And I would suggest if it was you, I would practice a couple times on scrap paper. Of course, that is personal preference. And this is just an embellishment. You don't need to do this. I like to make my S a little bit wonky, like that. It's a little bit big. And then temporary. I don't like to put the lines in the M because it takes too much room. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm on a little bit of a space crunch here. That happens. It just turns out that my leaves and everything were bigger than I realized. And that's the way drawing is. Cute. I love it. I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so before I go any further, I want to take a minute and do a double line here. So the first thing I'm going to do is overdraw this line, not the outside line yet, although you could, but I want to overdraw this line here. Now, when I've done that, I'm going to go back and do a second line along here and leave a little space like I did. It's most interesting, I think, if you do. If you need to lift your pen or whatever so that you can get down the row easily, it will be just fine. It won't show up and it'll be really gorgeous. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I am going to darken this inside line. So I'm going to come right around the inside line that I made is going to end up darkened. I like to have a little space, you notice, between these. Now that's your personal preference. This is where I'm going to put bales. And I'm also going to put a line down the middle here that divides this. So that means I'm going over a single line here, but a double here. So maybe I won't even start out there. I can go over that line just fine. Go underneath and come out the other side. Maybe even that much. You have to lift your pen a bunch of times. This will look weird if you don't lift your pen there too. Because now you have a double line. Okay, so that's what I needed to divide this up because I am going to put some stuff in the middle. Remember what we're going to do here? So we're going to make that cool stuff. And this will turn out as it does. It is nice to have that interior border. So I've tried from the up to the down, and I'm not sure which I like, but I'm going from wall to wall, top to bottom with my seeds. And there I got to lift my pen again and go behind. And this one's going to come out in the air, which I think is going to look really weird. So I'm going to pretend I've got a border spliced and a border spliced. Now, if you can figure out a better way to do this, please. I will not be offended. Tried a bunch of different ways, and I keep coming up with something different every time. So that lets me know that it doesn't matter. Splice, This bales pattern is lots of fun. That looks like it might have the illusion of going underneath there. And then it'll be its own version here. Coming right out. And here. And there. It's very, very, very fun. Okay, so we can save all of the darkening for a little bit here, but it is time, in my opinion, to erase all of these pencil lines that we don't need, with the exception of I do want to put this outside border in. So I think I'll do that before I go any further. And then get my eraser going. See, I have to lift my pen a bunch. That doesn't even show up. Lift your pen as you need to so that you can keep control. Now it looks more finished. Okay, eraser. I'm using my gum eraser because I really don't want those little divots that you get when you're using your pink pearl. And I use my pink pearl for lots of stuff, but it would really, I don't want to have to worry about those little divot things. Whoops, careful, girly. This is just paper, but it's really fun paper. It was a very fun piece to do together for our piece, for our last piece. Okay, so as I mentioned, if you want, we can do the darkening here, or we can save that and do the middle first. Does not matter. So I think I'm going to get started with the middle. The first thing I'm going to do with the middle is I'm going to put another box in here. It's going to be pretty close to halfway. Like that. Okay, with this box, I'm going to make my lines go that way and that way. So maybe it would be nice to, there might be a way to put a line down here to let you know, but watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift my pen a bunch of times because that lets me keep more control, and then it looks so cool. Did you notice how cool that looks on there? And that's just that tiny little lift of your pen. Now, I don't know if you're pushing your pen or pulling your pen, but this will work either way. Come along here like this. All different ways, different spots. Take a deep breath again. This is a area where we do find that we're a little bit tenser. It does not make sense, but we are. How cute is this, right? Okay, this line has to go into this flower. Start at the inside or the outside, does not matter. Just bring your line along. If you want, you could even, if you try it again, you could even use a different pen, like a thinner pen. And I probably wouldn't suggest using a thicker pen, but you sure could use a thinner one if you wanted. But that lifting your pen is a big help, I think. And this is a situation where nobody's going to look at your line and say, uh-oh, that one's crooked, or anything like that. Please don't even give that a thought. Should be the ultimate of meditation for you and me too. Okay, so it's easy for me to think of this if I put a V in here, like that. So I'm going to put a V because then I'm going to use that to give me the reminder that I need of where I want my lines to go. So I will put this on probably a little bit of a speed faster. There. That was fun, wasn't it? And that was real meditational too, real meditational. So grab your thicker pen, whatever, Sharpie, whatever you have. And what I'm going to do is darken behind these fun little bales that I have here. We'll do the first one together, and I think this will be another chance for you to meditate, so you will want to, in a minute, put me on pause so that you can just do this and feel relaxed about it, not rushed. There. I think that came out really, really, really special. I really love it. So I am ready for shading, but there is one little thing that I forgot. I'm done with my big thick pen, but I really do want to put some little whiskers, little fold lines in these bales that we did. And maybe you automatically knew because I mentioned it when I was showing you how. My version of how, but I have to take a minute, go back and do that. It's a nice touch. I think that darkening adds so much drama, but that said, not everybody likes it. Like for instance, I did this one without all that drama. And that looks kind of cool too, especially because I can do a huge amount of shading in here. But just ideas, and let's get speaking of shading, let's get shading on this pretty piece. So one of the places, and I like to shade the whole thing first, I'm going to work on the side of my pencil, not writing this time. Put it in definitely so it's going sideways. And I want to put shading behind this little amoeba shape that we put in here for Mumsy. Like that. I'm also going to shade behind just a few of these very fun petals. Not all. That would be weird. But I'm trying to put it pretty tight. See how I'm going pretty tight to these? Every time I say that, I don't go as tight as I intend. What is with this? Anyway, it's because I'm trying to talk and work too, and you know the downside of that one, don't you? So, put some shade on some of those. You can always go back and do more. Gonna do the other Mumsy while I'm right here. I like to have my pencil pushing in to what I want to shade, because I can pretty much get a tighter, closer fit if I do. That said, it doesn't always work. So, and just on a few of these cute petals, same as you did on the other side. They will pop off the page, just these few petals that you're doing. This one, I definitely want that to pop off the page where it intersects. And so I'll want these also. I'll be sure to do a ton of shading there, really thick. I'm going to do some shading on this poke leaf that I have here where it intersects with the other pattern. And down here too, on this side. This line that runs all the way through, I am going to shade. You're going to put some shade on each side of it. Who would have thought this could make it such a difference in our work? Okay, I want to follow the line on this. So see how I'm pulling my shade down? That's going to make life a little easier for me when I get my blender stump going here in a minute. Just pull that down so that it's diffused a little. There you go. So now the leaves, I really want to have a little shade in the middle of each leaf. It doesn't matter which side, just be consistent. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you do one side or the other. Certainly your choice. And I sure hope you're not worried about one mistake here or there. It just won't matter. The bales, I like to put a little bit of graphite on top of that pencil mark that I have. And in a minute, I'm going to push that toward the middle. See, I always think this graphite goes fast, but it's super important. It's a touch I wouldn't be without now. So grab your trusty blender stump, or if you don't have one, grab your Q-tip. Anything works. Push this down. Push it out. Do the other side so that you remember to do both sides if you're human like me. Oh my, yes. And then these will follow. Push these down. Push. Very sweet. Okay, start wherever you want now. I'm gonna do leaves just because it occurred to my eye. I noticed them. And they need to just be smudged. Not much going on there with the leaves. I have a lot of graphite on this blender stump now. I don't feel that I need to go back and grab my pencil too much. See, it's gonna pull that extra shade even if I forgot to shade an area now. Keep it going. This goes so fast and it looks so nice. I can't believe it. Okay. Here's where I gotta be careful because I just started on bales and I forgot that I was not done with this other Mumsy. This sweet little heart or a little rose pattern. See, I'm letting those spread out even though they started tight. And you're going to go back and evaluate, and if you think you need more, it's pretty easy to lay a little bit more on there. But you'll have certain petals that will pop off the page, not all of them, because that would be weird. You don't want to be weird. It's easy if you're thinking that you need some more. Now it's our chance to look and admire what we did. Whew, is that beautiful? That is a lot of work. Wonderful. Grab your thinnest pen, whatever you have handy, somewhere in a not noticeable spot. Put your initials. Always fun to mark your work. If you have room on the back, put the date so that you will remember it. And thank you for being part of the piece series with me. I'm celebrating my progress today. There was some imperfections. It was not perfect by a long shot, but I don't notice it, and I'm certainly hoping you won't either. Thanks again. I'll see you in August for our very fun days with Under the Sea. So actually, I think we're going to go through the porthole. See you then. Bye.